In today's video, I'll give you my best tips on how to stay consistent on YouTube, even with a busy schedule. I'm sure you've all heard that consistency is key when it comes to growing on YouTube, and that is so true. But sometimes it can be really difficult to stay consistent, and trust me, I know that. But as I said, today I'll give you all my tips on how I post consistently on YouTube, even with a busy schedule. Because it's actually possible, believe it or not. Let's not waste any more time and jump right into my first tip. So my very first tip on staying consistent on YouTube is to have a schedule. And I know that sounds like a really basic tip, but hear me out. It's not necessarily important for the algorithm to post specific days or certain times or anything, but it's actually really helpful for you as a creator. Having a set schedule and time helps you manage your time so much better. Instead of procrastinating and waiting for content to come to you, you actually have to go get that content yourself. You just need to create a schedule that works for you and your channel. Alright, let's get on to the next tip. I've rambled a lot about this now. My next tip is to have a list of ideas of videos you want to film. This is really important, you guys. I see a lot of YouTubers posting on like their Instagram stories asking for video ideas because they have no idea what to film. Considering that now you probably have a schedule to follow, you don't want to be in the situation where you have time to film, but you have to waste that on figuring out what to film. I have a list on the Notes app, so I can access it both from my phone and my computer. So whenever I get an idea and it pops up into my head, I just write it down. I make sure to always have like 5 to 10 videos on my list, but sometimes it's even over 20. And this way you just don't need to waste any precious filming time on trying to come up with a video idea. My next tip is to plan out what videos you want to post. Now, this may sound really similar to the last tip, and it kind of goes along the lines of it, but it's not the same. You actually plan out what video will go up on what day. This is so helpful because you know exactly what you have to do and when you have to do it. And it's like a security, because then you can also plan into your schedule when you're supposed to film and when you're supposed to edit. And this way you can also make sure you have any supplies you will need. If you're doing a bake with me, then you'll know that you'll have all the ingredients at home before you need to film the video. Alright, let's move on. My next tip is to outline your videos so you know exactly what to talk about. I do this all the time for almost every video I make. So basically you just sit down and write about the different parts of the video, the points you're going to bring up, everything you're going to say. Basically planning out how you want your video to be laid out. And honestly, for me this is a lifesaver because I can sit and ramble about things for hours on end. And another thing that makes this tip so useful is that you won't forget anything. If you have 5 points to bring up, you have them all written down and you won't forget any of them. And this way you can literally fit more filming into less time, which is awesome on a busy schedule. Alright, moving on to my next tip. Whenever you have time and inspo, sit down and outline videos. Because when it comes to filming, there's literally nothing else than setting up your camera that you need to do. Everything is already planned for you. So if you're going to do this whole thing with outlining, definitely make sure you have outlines ready before sitting down to film, because this just makes it so easy. But I swear to you, my videos have gotten so much better and so much easier to film since I've started outlining and actually having a bank of outlined videos. So whenever I just have a break in my schedule, I can just sit down and film because I have videos ready to be filmed at all times. My next tip is to pre-film videos. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit bad at this myself, but the idea is that you should always have a video ready to edit or upload whenever you have time to do so. And that you should film videos far enough in advance so that if something goes wrong, it's not going to be a problem and you're not going to have to stress a lot to get that video up on time. I usually don't have more than 2 videos filmed and ready to be edited at once, but I never film videos on the same day. This way I have plenty of time if something goes wrong or if we get an impromptu dinner invitation. That way it won't mess up my schedule. And this is not something that's going to be done overnight. Consistency takes time to learn and a schedule takes time to learn. So you just have to be patient and power through, and if something isn't working, then you have to acknowledge that. Alright, I've rambled a bit now, so on to the next tip. The next tip is to prioritize. And I know it can be a bit controversial, but if YouTube is that important to you, then you should really try to prioritize it over other things that maybe aren't as important, such as binge watching Jane the Virgin for 10 hours straight. You need to ask yourself, which is more important to you? Which will benefit you more? Which decision will you feel better about tomorrow? If YouTube feels like a boring chore, then you should really evaluate why you're doing it. And then again, sometimes it is important to prioritize other things, but that is up to you. My next tip is to take a break if you need to. This kind of goes along the lines of the last one as well. Do you feel like you really need a break from YouTube? Then you should obviously take it. There could be a million different reasons why someone would like to take a break from YouTube, but all of them are valid. Whether that be that your life is simply too busy at the moment, or that you're not motivated to create. That is all valid stuff. I actually took a 3-month break from like April to August, and that's totally okay. Because if I'm not ready to put effort into YouTube and I don't have the time or effort to put into YouTube, that will be noticed in my videos and reflected in them. And people won't really vibe with your content anyways. And my next tip is to not give up. This is literally the most important tip of all. Even if it feels rough, don't give up. If this is your dream and passion, then keep fighting for it because it's worth fighting for. And of course, this is all trial and error. Things work differently for different people and different channels. There isn't one universal magical tip that makes being consistent on YouTube easier. It is hard work, but I promise you, eventually it will pay off. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe down below for more YouTube tips and lifestyle content from me. And also don't forget to leave a comment down below if there's anything else you're wondering, or any tips that you thought were really helpful, or any tips that you're already doing that I didn't include in this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.